Fiji now have 5 universities. The latest one is Lautoka, next to the main market in Fiji. I was in Fiji for 1 month, and then I traveled down to S- American Samoa. So these are some of the challenges. There are many, but we had only 4. Fiji has about 300 islands, and in terms of curriculum material, it takes a while. They go either by air or by boat. And Papua New Guinea, we have the same problem, but system put in place. Material officers in the province, they are responsible. It will be good they target the remote first, and then they come to the main center. So that's one of the problems they have. Induction for new beginning teachers. What to do, what not to do. There is a job for the people in the school, the principal, the deputy principal, senior staff need to do this to support the new teachers or beginning teachers. Fiji, it was reported that there is a access to scholarship in a matrilineal society. Staff exchange scheme. We will collaborate with other universities, see what they are doing, so that we can capture some of those good ambition into our university to help our staff and even our students. Have exchange program so that we can link, connect to other universities. And that's good. We need to collaborate with one another in the Pacific countries. Fiji also, according to the author, they provide incentive for teachers in the field, and both in urban and also in rural and remote islands. So that's the author, Aloysia Lakaratu from Fiji, USP University in Suva. Now we move down to American Samoa. It's about 1.5 hour flight from Fiji to Samoa. And the author, Kama Wong, she was the principal. And also, she took charge of the curriculum. Again, Samoa has many islands, and absenteeism is very high. And during my visit there, the teachers are not small people like Papua New Guinea. They are huge. And we use semi-trailer, not a taxi, semi-trailer. Only 4 people get in there. And they go to school and they come back. So transport is another problem. Papua New Guinea, we have similar cases like that. They have big classes, and to have active learning, just so many students. So the space is narrow. Doing activities, some of them they use outside. Look at the material. Material is very short in remote school. And a similar problem faced in Fiji and Papua New Guinea. Same thing happening. Next, induction is another area in American Samoa. New teachers, beginning teachers, they go to school. There should be induction for the new teachers, beginning teachers. In some school, They all keep themselves away from the new ones joining in, and that's bad. Within the education, we need to educate so that the new beginning teachers will need to fit in nicely into the school system. Next, they have climate change. When there is a high tide and strong heat from the ocean, it really affects the environment. So those climate change also attach to the challenges in this island. Many of the graduates from National University of Samoa, they go to US, relocated to US. And the motto they use is education for export, because many of their students, they go out to US. Next, new. The country is small, smallest nation in the Pacific. They need induction program. Teaching resources is very limited. Climate change, when there is a high tide, it threatens the water system in this country. Funding is needed. The author here is Janet Supilia, Tasmania. So that is one of the author from the new. Some of the problem for beginning teachers, they are given a lot of responsibilities in the new school. They are responsible for the academic program for the children they teach. They also take responsibility for their social and moral development. They take discipline. They take action for those students who misbehave. They're given extra responsibilities by school, work parade supervisors, sport coordinators. So, they need to fit in nicely. Problem for beginning teachers. Process and result. We, the Pacific Islands, to develop national program to suit their Pacific national school needs. And the authors will suggest the following four guidelines to help the beginning teachers. One, guideline one, in the school, new teachers are assigned to an experienced teacher who acts as a mentor to provide advice and guidance. Guideline two, new and experienced teachers should move frequently between classrooms so that they visit, observe, make assessment, and provide advice to the beginning teachers. Guideline three, beginning teachers in schools should carry higher teaching with smaller classes and reduced time. This, they will spend about 90% with the induction activities. And guideline four, a series of in-service and orientation, even at the school and at district level. In Papua New Guinea, we have rural school, district, provincial school, and we have rural school and remote school at the district level. Conclusion, the pre-service and in-service of teachers within local education system under the ministries of education try to solve some of the challenges to produce well-trained teachers who should support, provide where possible to help them. We, the authors, suggested a set of guidelines to assist the educators in the Pacific nation, island nation, to put into practice an effective induction program for the beginning teachers. It is the school itself, see the needs, New the beginning teachers there, they need to provide program to support them so that they will enjoy the profession of teaching. This discussion paper conclude the induction is a purposeful and value activity that provides new teachers for appropriate and such needed introduction to new school system. Frequent interaction between the old and newcomers, beginning teachers is vital and naturally will provide a closer link relationship, which is extremely helpful for the survival of the first year teachers. So it is vital in our discussion so that they carry on and we keep them in a teaching profession. If this is not there, student transfer elsewhere. Look at Eastern Highlands. They keep the teachers here and then they continue the service, which is good. In the past, every year we move around, transfer, but now Eastern Highlands is taking a move. That is one of the way to stabilize teachers in a province. Recommendation. One, the need for in-service support of new teachers in the Pacific region. Two, exploration and discussion of this presentation advocated the need of the national framework for induction program in the Pacific region. Promote digitalization for online learning so the student can link globally to other universities or research institutions for new ideas. Teaching is good so that we create knowledge for new people. Building research network in the Pacific region. Enhancing special attention to rural and remote education system in the different countries in the Pacific. Those are, very important areas we need to be mindful. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Potek, for a wonderful presentation. Let's give him another round of applause. After one, two. Next presenter we have is Dr. Keleyako. Dr. Keleyako is a senior lecturer with the School of Education. His presentation title is The Challenges of Media and Digital Literacy within the Initial Teacher Education in Papua New Guinea during the 21st century. Thank you, Dr. Keleyako. You will be given 15 minutes. So after 10 minutes, the timer will put a time after.
Good afternoon, all. Thank you for being patient. I acknowledge the presence of our Chancellor and our UNESCO um, East Asia uh, representative, our principals, our teachers, our officers from National Department of Education as well as TSC, and our esteemed school teachers. I'd like to thank you all for your contribution. And this platform, as I would like to think, is very, very important for educational discussions. And such discussions can go a long way to help us uh, at least make a change to our education system. We have had good discussions, and my discussion is under one of these themes. And actually, this theme is related to the challenges of uh, ICT in tertiary institutions. I've got to be straight here, and I'll be coming from the perspective of a researcher and not a staff of University of Goroka, but as a researcher for the first instance. And then I'm also mindful that I am a staff representing University of Goroka. Having said that, title Addressing Challenges of Media and Digital Literacy in Papua New Guinea, Education through Initial Teacher Education. Our teacher education programs in the 21st century will depend on media, it will depend on digital tools to pursue the pathway of research was on critical literacy. But there was a certain portion of my research that also tapped into the area of media and digital communication, because you talk about literacy is a general concept, and in literacy we also have media literacy, we have ICT literacy. So teacher education, we are in a position now, we are in a critical position to ensure that our students are given that opportunity to be literate in ICT. And so my study also covered certain parts of that area. You have the map of Australia and Papua New Guinea there. I have a special reason for projecting that one on the board because my research took place during COVID-19. It took place during COVID-19, and I was not allowed to return to Papua New Guinea from Australia. And like I attempted several times to return to Papua New Guinea, but I wasn't given, according to the COVID policies, international rules, regulations, they said, no, you cannot go back to Papua New Guinea because it is hard hit by COVID-19. And then, unfortunately, around those times, several of my colleagues succumbed to the pandemic. And that was a moment that really, didn't work well with me in terms of my research. But I thought I shouldn't stop there. I should start looking at other ways. And so I resorted to plan B. And my plan B will be explained in the methodology section. So this one, that's Australia and that's PNG. I conducted my research from Brisbane, and I'll tell you how. Okay, country Papua New Guinea, region Pacific, Australia was the colonial administration. As we know, our year of independence is 1975. Actually, this information would also help our Chinese partners. I thought I would present within that initial plan, but our plans changed. So here now I only have the audience that is made of Papua New Guinea, but I think we will also need to know about our basics. 800 plus language, our type of government is Westminster, official language is English, lingua franca, we have English, Pidgin, Motu, and the literacy rate according to 2019 is we only have 62%, but Mr. Parua can correct me on that. Probably it has increased, or it probably remains stagnant. I wouldn't know, but that is according to 2019 statistics. Okay, for our Chinese friends, I also thought our Chinese friends would be around. And some of what I would have shared is about the importance of ICT. Look at China, shaded in red, and there we have Papua New Guinea there, and the distance there. We, came in good terms to at least signing MOUs, and we now have initiated our friendship. For our friendship to go on, we need, continual dialogue and correspondence, and that's through, as we all know, through ICT, through modes of communications that will keep us together, that will ICT in the 21st century is a glue. It's the social glue that will keep us together as a community of learned people. So that's the something that I'd like to bring to us, and that's the purpose. This bit of explanation is the reason why I had to have the global map projected for us. Overview of my study. The significance, I will go by the significance of the study, the problem statement, research methods, the research findings, research implications, and obviously the conclusion. Ladies and gentlemen, come with me to the significance of the study. It's very important. I, being a teacher educator, and I started off as a teacher, and then initiated into being a teacher educator. I'm more into the area of trying to ensure that our curriculum, you know, our curriculum is of quality, and the pedagogy, the approaches that we deliver the curriculum is also of quality. But then there are several vehicles that will have to drive it, that must drive it. And I see ICT, I see technology in the form of media. Okay, if you like, we now must be happy that staff are being initiated to model. And for some time, we have been depending on Google Classroom. And then once the authorization of using model becomes something that needs to be absorbed by our staff, we will ensure that model is closely engaged in our teaching and learning. And that's very, very important. That's very, very important for an institution that tries to negotiate for quality, that tries to negotiate to address the barriers of accessibility. ICT is there. And I, for one, in the practices in this institution, I'd like to thank Chancellor, I'd like to thank the Vice Chancellor for initiating Moodle. That's very, very important. But my study also tried to have a look at the other teacher institutions, teacher education institutions, because we must know that in the business of teacher education, we are not alone. We are not alone. We have our teachers' colleges, teacher education teachers' colleges. We have our universities. We've also got to find out from them and what's happening in terms of engaging teaching and learning through the use of ICT. Okay, some background for us. At the DS level, at the policy level, DS also in its NEC directive, uh, that was Directive 121 in 2020, they called for attention to digital transformation. They call for attention to digital transformation, and that would serve as a cornerstone that will try to address the issue of quality, accessibility, and so forth. So according to DS ministerial statement that was released in 2025, but what was reached in 2020 is about trying to encourage the use of ICT in institutions. ICT is also very important to access knowledge resources, establish partnerships. Okay, it becomes ICT is also can be accessed for its vitality in the libraries, digital libraries. Like we have different sources that we tap into to get information. It's very, very important, and that's not just for our staff, but it's also important for our students. It provides both staff and students with cutting edge research information, learning materials. ICT is very, very important. Okay, the problem. The problem of ICT and its emphasis in a more equitable manner is something that needs to be questioned too. Uh, I see, I see that University of Goroka is up on its toe to ensure that, we try to reach out to our students through different approaches using ICT. And that's something I'd like seeing. I also would like to see other institutions. The Western Pacific University, thank you for presenting the framework. President, with due respect, thank you for presenting that one. And I believe that framework will also work for your university. In the 21st century, we cannot bypass media, communication, technology. It's very, very important. Ladies and gentlemen, the objective of the study was to to find out if, you know, institutions were receiving supports to engage into ICT. Sometimes we cannot blame the institutions. We cannot blame the institutions. Students come to you and say, I cannot access Moodle. I cannot access Google Classroom. I'm trying my best to go into Moodle, and yes, thank you, Ms. Kuraiba, for the facilitations and the efforts. Then I will, at some point in time, make sure get myself into the matured stage of using Moodle. But now I'm also using what's available to us, Google Classroom, and Google Classroom has worked well for many of us. But then again, we've also got to ensure that we've got to mentor the students properly as to how we can go about using that platform. Yep. And that's something for us to think about. But the important catch here is that, we cannot go on to blame institutions. Institutions are doing their best, but we'd also got to see what's policy doing about it. The support's coming in. Are they okay? The struggle students themselves are going through. So unfortunately, because of the situation University of Goroka was in, I wasn't able to come and study, or I wasn't able to come and ask something about what's happening here, because I sort of, by default, I already placed myself into a situation. I had to tiptoe as a researcher, not to really, compromise with my position as a lecturer here and as a researcher. But I had some background information about what was happening at UOG at that particular time. And I also had some information about that. I through a case study approach, I investigated through my study, investigated 4 teachers' colleges and 1 teacher education university. Yes. That from them, I had 14 teacher trainers, or teacher educators, if you like, and 20 pre-service teachers. Yes, and that was spread throughout the regions of Papua New Guinea. I have the islands provinces represented. I have the national capital, that's in southern. I had Mamase, yeah. And yep, I didn't have anything for the island region because I couldn't reach them. Okay, you can see there my approach. I told you how did I conduct my research. That was through document analysis and 2 major documents. One was the National Qualification Framework, and the other one was the DS Education Policy, National Education and Tertiary Policy. That's the second one. That's in the category of document analysis. And this one you see is interview, but it was conducted from Australia. With permission, I can project. I did ask if I can use the photos, and they gave me permission. So I'm using the photos now. These are my research administrators in Papua New Guinea. I've used the research administrators in Papua New Guinea. You see, they are now mentoring the research participants and in different teachers' colleges around Papua New Guinea. And I collected all these informations. You see those in Papua New Guinea, the upper end of the projection, there you see the research participants, and there you see my picture. That's in Australia. So I conducted That was during COVID-19. And there's more photos about conducting research. And you would also see that the interviews involved one-on-one interview as well as group interviews. So I had the groups there and I have individual participants there too, through um, the what you call interview process that was capitalizing on Zoom technology. The findings. They told me a lot of things, but I categorized them, and one of them is lack of ICT resources. Lack of ICT resources. The next one is need for ICT experts. I am very, very thankful for our very hardworking ICT officials here. They've been working day and night to support this conference, as well as our academic programs. Then credit goes to Manjula for helping us all throughout. Uh, while we think everything is working at certain areas, some places they need attention. They need attention. So that's something for us to think about because we say we are part of the academic community and this is only a drop in the ocean of being a Papua New Guinean tertiary institution. We have other tertiary institutions who are focused on the business of educating teachers. And after all, we are partners in educating teachers. So their problem becomes our problem. Their challenge also becomes our challenges. Some students say it's an expensive exercise when actually they don't have access to ICT resources. They had to go out of the way to use their own pocket monies. Okay, that was it. Lack of resources, physical resources as well as human resources. It was an expensive exercise. Okay, time is catching up. The results suggest, as part of my implications, the research suggests that ITE institutions of PNG should receive. ITE simply means that's initial teacher education. In another word for saying pre-service teacher education, initial teacher education. Right around the world, they are using ITE. Institutions in PNG should receive substantial support concerning media and ICT resources to produce digitally literate pre-service teachers. The results also suggest the IT institutions in PNG should receive substantial support concerning media and ICT resources to produce digitally literate pre-service teachers. Yes, time is up and I'm up too. Thank you. That was like something I had to run through briefly, but it's a concern that we all must try to look into that. And thank you. Chancellor, thank you for listening to me. Vice Chancellor, thank you for listening to me. And my preferred President, Western Pacific University, thank you. We are a community of teacher educators, and whilst we think everything is okay, some parts we also need to look into. Thank you very much. That's how far, as far as my presentation is concerned.
Thank you, Dr. Keliako. Can we give him another round of applause, please? Thank you. Thank you. Okay, for the 5 presenters for this afternoon, the 3 others are not present. Mrs. Jenny Luta is not here. Is she around? Jenny Luta, put your hands up. No. Dr. John Wanis? No. Mr. Sakayabotu? No. Okay, for the 5 were supposed to present this afternoon. We have 2 and that have presented already. And since we have Dr. Bomai Whitney is around, he can come up and present his paper. Let's give him a round of applause as he comes forward. All right. Dr. Bomai Witness presentation this afternoon. The title is Experiences and Insights from Dr. Agewa Alujemin, at the University of Goroka from the year 1979 to 2005. Dr. Bomai Whitney is a senior lecturer with the School of Humanities. Let's make him welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair, and good afternoon, everyone. And thank you for joining me and others in this session. Now, the title of my presentation is Experiences and Insights from Dr. Agewa Alu Jaming at the University of Goroka from 1979 to 2025. Thank you. And I think Dr. Jaming, are you in the audience? Thank you. Welcome to the session. Now, I would also like to thank him for the time he has made available to me to document his story and also his family, particularly his wife, for giving me the photos, some of the photos that I will be using. And you can see on this page, that's Dr. Jaming, a photo taken in 1987 when he graduated with his master's degree from a university in the United Kingdom. And a photo on my right is a photo that I took at the Melanesian Institute early this year when he was in the business of inducting our postgraduate students. This is the outline of my presentation. Now, I would like to give you a background to why I am interested in the life of Dr. Agewa Alu Jaming. Now, what the government does affects all of us, including Dr. Agewa Jaming. And early this year, our Prime Minister of Papua New Guinea, Honorable James Marape, was here at this podium to receive and answer the petitions of our Student Representative Council. And in one of his statements, University of Goroka is a backbone and a home for nation building. And that was a profound statement. And that led me into thinking about a project I was doing for the Australian National University this year. We were doing a project called Dictionary of Biographies. We were documenting lives of unsung heroes, people who contributed to the development of this country to celebrate their lives as part of our 50th independence anniversary. And I did two stories, one for one of my tribesmen and the other one for a woman, a very strong woman from Lufa district in this province. And that experience also inspired me to do a similar story for Dr. Agewa Alu Jaming. And I have a personal reason to do that as well, because in 2007 and 8, when I was doing my master's program here, my principal supervisor left. And I didn't know until Dr. Jaming took over the supervisory role from him. And that transition was smooth. And this experience, I think, also resonated with other teachers and professionals that Dr. Agewa connected with through his more than 46 years of his life to nation building in this country. And I later found out through my research that Dr. Agewa's parents' story also resonated with my parents' story. His parents were missionaries who left their village to live and evangelize other Papua New Guineans in the highlands. But my parents were not missionaries, but they were victims of tribal warfare. They migrated to find a better life and probably to educate me. So I felt that we have a very, very special connection between us. Now, why this presentation in a China Pacific Teacher Challenge conference? Okay, in my interview, there were many information, many insights, but this is, to me, is a significant information that connects this research to one of the themes of this conference. And this is what Dr. Agewa said. I walked over 30 kilometers to attend grade 1 in 1961. In 1996, my PhD supervisor jokingly pointed to a trash bin in his office and said, Agewa, your draft thesis is in the bin. Pick it up and go home, or come back if you want to continue your PhD journey. Now, the reason for his supervisor saying this at the time was that, according to Dr. Agewa, he could not articulate his doctoral research proposal in the English language. So his supervisor thought he was not capable of writing English at that level. But Dr. Agewa Jaming never gave up. He took 2 or 3 days out, and he went back, and he was able to complete his PhD. So there are many lessons for this, but one of the big lessons here is the English language. We inherit a legacy that all of us are trying best to address this. Now, a little bit on Agewa's story. His father, Bageng Jaming, and his mother, Gewang Jaming, who were Lutheran missionaries. Okay. They joined the expatriate Lutheran missionaries in Tewai, CRC, and they converted to become Lutheran missionaries. Okay, they are from the Tewai CSE area in the Morobe province. Now, 2 years after the war, in 1947, Agewa's parents decided to leave their village in Tawai CRC and travel to the highlands. And they ended up in a village called Kamening in Nondoku, that is part of Jiwaka. And they settled there. And Agewa was born, was the second child who was born on the 12th of August, 1951. And as it is a tradition in Papua New Guinea and in Melanesia, naming a child is an important thing, and we carry the name of our parents, of our clan, our tribe, beliefs, so forth. So the name Agewa was the name that his mother gave him after a small creek that was beside their home at that time. So when Dr. Jaming's mother was pregnant, she went and bathed in that creek, came back, and she was inspired in a dream that a son should be named after that creek. So that's how the name, or he carries the name Agewa. And he was among the Jiwaka people. So the local people there gave him another name called Alu. And Alu in Jiwaka means it is one of the species of bird of paradise. And Jaming is a name he inherits from his father. Okay. Agewa or Dr. Agewa Alu Jaming, as we know today, started his primary school in 1960 in a village or in a school called Kimag in Kerawagi district in the Simbu province. And that is over 30 kilometers from Nondokul to Kimag. So the people around Kimag allocated some of their land for Agewa's parents to build their house, make gardens. So that's where he completed grade 1 and 2. And because he was in a mission school, there was no grade 3, so he had to do his grade 3 and 4 in Omkolai, in the Gumine district of Simbu province. And he completed grade 4 and 5 there. And for grade 6, he had to be relocated again to Prenorqua Primary School, another school in the Simbu province. And then he went on to do grade 7 at Asaroka Secondary School. And someone mentioned this earlier that Asaroka is one of the oldest schools that was built in 1954. So Dr. Jaming was there about 10 or 11 years later to do his high school. He went on to Sogeri and then to University of Papua New Guinea. And in 1999, he completed his PhD, okay, in Australia. And Dr. Jaming got his first job at Dragavan High School as a teacher in 1978, straight after he completed his education degree at the University of Papua New Guinea. And while teaching at Dragavan, one of the friends of his brother was here, so he got him here to this university as a graduate teaching fellow in 1979, and is never turned elsewhere. He's still here. Now, the biography research, okay, you can do, it's about your story. So you can do it in two ways. You can get someone to write for you, like what I am doing. I'm writing for Dr. Agewa, and that is called the biography, but you can write your own story. That is called autobiography. So for this project, the focus is on Dr. Agewa Jamming, and I used desktop documentary analysis, and I conducted personal interview. Now, the information I got from Dr. Agewa, from the interview and from the documentary sets was analyzed in chronological order. Okay, so these are there are many key findings, but these are a few I want to share, share with us in the interest of time. Now, Agewa inherited a very, very strong cultural and spiritual knowledge from his parents, inspired by the Lutheran missionaries. And that came out very clear. When I interviewed him, there were many things he talked about, but he could not exclude the work of the Lutheran missionaries in his stories. And I realized that he has a very strong connection with the Lutheran missionaries, and the values of the Lutheran missionaries inspired him in many ways in his professional life as well as his social life. Now, another key information that I learned, and I think we should all learn, is the way in which his parents and him and his siblings embrace the culture of the Jiwaka people and live alongside each other. Unity in diversity. I think that really reflects in the story of Agewa Jamming, and also in many history books. And for those of you who are teaching history, whether in a primary school or high school or at the university level, would agree with me that we teach about things that the missionaries, particularly the Western missionaries and expatriate colonial administrators writes about us. And that has shaped our mindset in many ways. But his story reminds us that yes, there were very strong Papua New Guineans who were part of building this country together with the missionaries and other expatriates at that time. And that we as Papua New Guineans must always embrace, hold it close to our hearts. And he also stated that University of Goroka is a hub of civilization. This is a place where Papua New Guinea meets the Western civilization. This is the place where the colonizers build a history. They build a primary school. And this primary school turned into a teachers' college. And this teachers' college turned into a university. And we are part of celebrating the life of this university and those who build this university. So we are part of a bigger and a sustainable civilization. And I took this photo. The photo you see on the screen is taken from the front of the security and SRC offices. Now, as a history researcher, information like this is very, very significant. It reminds us of the footprint of people. Manus Boy, 1972. And if you walk down the path or visit other buildings, there are small writings like that. But here is a very, very significant information to me. And it reminds me of Professor Mark Solon. He saw the name Manus. So he was here. So there could be some Manus people and other Papua New Guineans and expatriates here building the place we now come to meet and have intellectual discussion, continue that legacy and continue to improve policies and practices. So this is a very, very significant piece of information. Now, the way forward, according to Dr. Agewa Jemi, UOG is a very special place and encourage staff, students, and the surrounding communities to look after it well, to serve its national, regional, and global purpose of education, research, science, and creativity. And I think this conference attests and some this dream and vision from Dr. Agewa Jamin. And I don't have to explain more. Now, conclusion. According to Dr. Agewa Jamin, geographically, University of Goroka is the center and heart of Papua New Guinea. Therefore, God is in the heart of Papua New Guinea. Every person on this hilltop must fear God, and everything else will be possible. God will grant abilities to be successful, healthy, wealthy, and wise in order to enjoy life. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Whitner. Let's give him a final round of applause, please. Can we have some questions? Dr. Wee, we'll have some questions for the presenters. Okay, could I invite the presenters to come forward, to come to the stage, and we'll have maybe 3 questions, one from each row. Oh, yes. Any question or any comment regarding the 3 presentations that were given to us this afternoon? Thank you. Can I have a presenters for in front? The topics that we had this afternoon, the first one was from Dr. Potek, and his topic was on the in-service support for new teachers in the Pacific. The second presentation was from Dr. Keleyako, and his topic is the challenges of media and digital literacy within the initial teacher education in Papua New Guinea during the 21st century. And the final one, which was just presented to us a few minutes ago by Dr. Bomai Whitney, and it is the experiences and insights from Dr. Agewa Alu Jemin at the University of Goroka from 1979 to 2025. So if you have any comments or any questions from the audience, the 3 presenters are in front and you can forward the questions to them. Thank you. Silence means thank you. You can ask your question. You can make a statement if you wanted to. Mike, you can come up to the stage if you don't mind.
Thank you for the. It's just a very brief comment on one of the global programs of UNESCO. It's called MIL, Media Information Literacy. So I think, thank you for the very excellent presentation on uh, raising advocacy and awareness on the importance of MIL. It's a big global program. I want you to see it on your website, on our website. We also have some resources and guidelines on promoting media information literacy. It is now becoming very important because of the very, very harmful effects of impact of online and social media. So we have a lot of very harmful information that is being generated. So the UN is very aggressive in um, having this global platform called MIL, Media Information Literacy. And that has to be promoted across the board at institutional level and at school level, and how to promote and how to be aware of the implications of the dangers of the information that is generated across all kinds of social media platforms. Some are very harmful indeed. And even some have uh, even been fooled into believing some of the false information and they've died as well. And as you can also see on the media, there's a lot of, on Facebook in particular, they're generating a lot of false information. And I think that is a big risk. And uh, the United Nations have now promoted this program, I'm saying. So please take some time to visit and take a look at all the information that we have uploaded. There's a lot of research as well. We also want the ministries of education to have a policy on how to address the risks and dangers and ethical implications of media information literacy. And I think this is a very good study. And I think the awareness also has to be raised at tertiary level. And I think this is a very good study done as a part of the PhD study. And my brother, I think it's very, very useful information. But I just wanted to take this moment to really encourage all of you to look at our entire global platform on media information and literacy. And in addition to that, we also promote the digital literacy as well. So I think the media information literacy is very important because of the dangers we face now, the risks that are coming, and also the impact of social media across the board. People who are not fully educated or media information literate can easily fall into a trap. For example, the scams that are being generated across the social media is a good example. So what the United Nations has said is we need to promote MIL at every level of education institutions so that the person is well prepared. So by the time you tap onto a Facebook or any platform of social media, internet, you are already fully aware of the implications of any information you're trying to digest or absorb. So that is why the MIL is very important program, and I just wanted to really emphasize that. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Para, for the insight in support of the presentation that was given this afternoon. Let's give him a round of applause, please. Any questions from the audience regarding the presentations given this afternoon? If there is none, thank you to the three presenters for your time and for the presentation that you have given to the audience this afternoon. Our session must have come to an end, and I will invite Dr. Jane Nawi on stage to take over from me. Thank you. All right, that is the good news. Let's go out for a tea break and come back when the other audience come. Thank you.